Welcome to Book Club. I'm your host, Mike Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I've read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the content, you like the books that I talk about, or maybe you just like making weird sounds in your off time too, you've come to the right place, my friends. You can follow us on Twitter, Getter, TikTok, or Parler, or you can subscribe right down below on YouTube and Rumble. But more importantly, be a part of the conversation. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know if there's any books you want me to cover, or reach out in that comments. Smash that subscribe button, hit like, share with your friends, and let's join the club. Be a part of the movement of reading books. Today we're going to take a look at a really interesting book that I finished a couple months ago. I've kind of been waiting to get it into the show shuffle, and now I'm glad that I do, and I'm glad I get to share it with you. Today we're going to take a look at The End of Gender by Dr. Debra Soh. Soh is a sexologist and a neuroscientist. I'm kind of leery about the sexologist title, honestly, but let's get into it. So in this book, she kind of details the rise of the gender debate and some of its most common talking points, such as biological sex is a spectrum. There's no difference between trans women and women. You hear that one a lot. You hear trans women are women, and she kind of addresses that, and she takes that one head on, as well as the gender neutral parenting works. You know, if you believe that, if you're kind of into this gender theory, if you just raise your kid to not know what gender is, or to like think that everything is just all a spectrum, it's wide open fields, no boy or girl from the get-go, that's going to be a healthy lifestyle. She takes that one on as well. Very, very interesting. So let's kind of jump into our critiques of it. As far as the aesthetics go, simple, cool design, but it's a little busy on the wording. I don't like that, but like the color scheme, like the design, cool beans. As far as the aesthetics go, pretty strong, 8 out of 10. Now let's get into the readability. It's a very easy read. Dr. Debra Soh is pretty straightforward. She even includes some of her own anecdotal stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that because honestly, unless you're charging into battle with a machine gun or something really crazy like that, I honestly just don't care very much. But I do kind of admire the fact that she does take her own personal experience in it. It does kind of add a personal effect to it. Again, very easy, straightforward read, except when she has to kind of go through all this jargon and this lingo of modern gender theory. Honestly, that stuff can make your head spin faster than that little soup puking girl from The Exorcist. So, but anyway, as far as the readability, I'd say very, very strong, 9 out of 10. Now let's look at the content. Soh takes a systematic approach of designating one chapter to debunk a given talking point commonly heard on the extreme left regarding gender theory. She uses her experience as a liberal sexologist, but also as a relatively objective neuroscientist to kind of bring these facts to light. So you'll hear some of her personal anecdotes as kind of a far left feminist, someone that would have easily kind of taken up this gender theory mantle, but what's kind of stopped her and slowed her down is the fact that she actually is a very objective neuroscientist. She tries to take the facts as they lead her. So that's kind of put those two sides of her into conflict, and you really see that in the book. She gives some great points on how our brains respond to stimulus. When we read the brain scan, when you read a brain scan as you're responding to different things, it kind of takes you through chemically and physically how we react to stuff. Our bodies, what happens when we go through puberty, all the different hormones that flood our system, and all the hormones and stuff that go into who we are, how we're created in the womb, like from the get-go, at the inception of life. From conception, the initial hormones that go in and what makes us, at least on a chemical level, who we are. So it's actually really, really interesting on a scientific level to read. She also runs through some of the similar areas covered by Abigail Shrier. Abigail Shrier, who was the author of Irreversible Damage, also did a show about her book, which was also a phenomenal piece of writing, but she covers some of that similar ground as Abigail Shrier did regarding these horrifying procedures and surgeries, these physical and chemical procedures used on people trying to essentially achieve the impossible, which is to change their sex. I do disagree with several of her points about the place gender surgeries have in our society. In my opinion, I don't think there's any place for them whatsoever. She's a lot more friendly to that idea that someone can change their life for the better. Honestly, I think that comes from the fact that she has a fundamental, in my opinion, I think she has a fundamental misunderstanding of happiness and fulfillment truly and traditionally mean? But in all honesty, I think that her heart is in the right place. I think that she does do a good job staying as objective as possible. I just think that with an issue this blatant about objective truth or about fiction, about truth and lies, we don't really get that luxury. I think you have to honestly take a firm stance. She's trying to thread a very, very fine needle here. And I think she does it as gracefully as possible. So as far as the content goes, a fairly strong 7 out of 10. I think it's a really, really good book. I found this book online, so traditionally I try not to do that, but I was kind of interested at one point of getting all these different books, including Abigail Schreier's and Dr. Debra Soh's. So I was just trying to get them as quick as possible so I can kind of read up on these subjects. And so this one was a gift to me, purchased online through Amazon. I do disagree with some of the points. If you're a liberal or a conservative, I think you're going to disagree with different points from this book, but honestly, I highly recommend you get it. I mean, it's a very good piece of writing. I think it's really relevant to our times and within the next 10 to 20 years. So the book is The End of Gender by Dr. Debra Soh. Go ahead and get yourself a copy. Thanks for watching, everybody, and go read something.